Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So, as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur's fan page on Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow the Queen on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so we have Dr. LaShawn Clark here. She's going to talk to us about narcissists and some of the things that we can, how we can detect if we're dealing with a narcissist, and just the overall portrait of these people. All right, so hello, Vince. I am from the UK. Jawara, Louise is in the house. Dragon Lily, Nubian Queen. All right. Hello, Janice KX. Chantel is in the house. Cheryl, Stephanie. All right, Nessie X, I see you, beloved. Mental stimulator, okay. Kissed by the Sun, Cherokee Descendant Dell, Robin, Kiana, Melanated Brown. All right, so let's get into it. Emperor Rex, I see you. Lillian, Robin, okay. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Root Track, because I see you. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. So let's get some fire emojis for Dr. Clark. Let's get those fire emojis in the chat. All right. So let's go ahead and get ready to get it started. Okay, so Dr. Clark, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming. Yes.
Such an honor to be with you on this. I've been a fan of you for years. You're one of the rare people, to be completely honest, that really shows your heat. Because
they want to know if you could call into the show, right? Okay. So here's what we'll do. I don't know why I didn't think of this. So what I'll do is I'll just, huh? Right. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just let you talk. I'll put my phone on speaker, okay? And then I'll put it to the mic. How's that? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, so that's good. So that's what we're doing. And I'm just gonna, start back at the point where I asked you, how do we detect a narcissist? So I'm gonna put you on speaker right now. Okay? Okay. Okay, Dr. Clark. Now, if you could go ahead and tell us how are some of the ways, I'm sorry you have to start over, but just tell us again, what are some of the things that the red flags that we could notice so we know whether or not we're dealing with a narcissist?
well, some of the red flags that you know when you're dealing with a narcissist is that they have a sense of arrogance, a sense of haughtiness, a sense of self-importance that is bigger than not just life, but bigger than anyone and everyone else's sense of importance in that room or in the universe. I mean, they really truly believe that they are entitled to, receive and reflect all good things in the universe, and that anyone outside of themselves is a threat that needs to be confronted and annihilated.
Wow.
The thing about narcissism is that they present themselves as if they have so much self-love, but in the truth and actuality, it's a flip side, a double-edged coin. It's a place that is not full of self-love. It's really self-loathing. It's a deep-seated sense of self-hate that drives the narcissist. And what they do is they typically will find out that they are in need of amounts of attention that is unhealthy. And most people are unaware of it, but some of them are. And when they pick their victims, they're looking for a narcissistic supply, like a vampire. They want to suck that person dry because they don't have their own accomplishments. They don't have their own accolades. They don't have their own achievements. They don't even have their own sense of self. Because their mothers typically, they had a very contentious, anxious, avoidant attachment style. Bowlby speaks of this, an anxious, avoidant attachment style, in which the mother and child do a little dance back and forth, but it ends up with the child always being feeling as if though they are not being loved or cared for, or they're being rejected. If you have a cold mother, or she's isolative and she's not attentive to the child's needs. This is a classic thing as well. A theorist, her name is Melanie Klein. She came up with the good breast, bad breast theory. And it really plays out because the child is dependent upon mommy for all things. Mother's milk, her nourishment, her nurturing, her hugs and kisses, everything.
Wow.
So mommy has a lot of power. And if she's got a lot of power, she also has the power to take those things away. And that creates anxiety in a child. But most people are healthy ego-wise because they battle that out at a very young age, typically before they're 2. They battled all of that out. Before usually six months, they're in and out. And so children, they don't end up with a fragmented self, a sense of self. But when your mother is cold or isolative and she doesn't meet your needs, there's a thirst, I believe, that is inherent in that child to always seek the center of attention. And they will not only annihilate others, they will annihilate themselves in the process in order to get more attention.
So they are attention seekers, and they have a low sense of self, which would explain why they want to probably, or why they're envious of others. Now, another thing that you mentioned is you said they don't have their own accolades. Now, would that be something that would cause them to copy other people's style, talking points, and things like that, perhaps?
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up because I was just about to speak on that next. You're right on time.
Okay.
Envy is actually the hallmark. Envy is the hallmark of narcissism. It's the cornerstone. It is the thing. Wow. They have a sour grapes attitude, not just towards people they're around, but towards humanity in and of itself. These people are referred to as misanthropes. These people, they hate other people, and they hate themselves.
Wow.
So their job in life is to try and find or hunt. I like to say hunt because it's more of a hunting process. Mm-hmm. They want to hunt others down who can give them that love. Unfortunately, it's typically people who are empaths, people who are lovers, creators, givers, because they have energy, they have frequency, and they have it in spades. This person can see how bright your light is shining, mm-hmm. and they're attracted, drawn like moths to flame.
So
they're drawn.
Now that's interesting. So let me ask you this. You said they're attracted to people who have a light and who are empaths and who love to give and are very giving, kind, and considerate people, right? So when the narcissist encounters these types of individuals, would it be safe to say that this is someone the narcissist would use for their own gain, and when they're done with this person, they can just discard them like an old used Kleenex?
Oh, honey, I typically say a tampon, so you're spot on. You're spot on. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a typical cycle. There's 4 parts to narcissism as far as how they move in their behavior, as being antisocial and injurious to the public. And one of those ways is to first idealize you. Oh, they just love you to bits. You're the best thing since sliced bread. Mm-hmm. Until you do something they don't like.
That's all it takes. Okay? It's just one thing you do that they don't like.
One thing, and I'm gonna dig a little deeper here quickly. This is the important part, the grooming stage, where they're selecting and hand selecting their victims. They're looking for people with love, light, a lot of energy, because they don't have any. The sad thing about a narcissist, honey, is that he or she, typically he, is so devoid of self. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They can't relate to other humans at all. Everything they do is an act. Everything they do is a show. Everything they do is cold, cunning, manipulated, and calculated for one gain, and that is to get your energy, your supply. Because without a sense of self, the narcissist didn't develop a sense of self because they didn't have the nurturing.
So they basically suffer from
the lifeblood out of everyone else.
Wow. So now would it be safe to say that they basically have an identity crisis? So they can act like, different, so they can take little bits and pieces of characteristics of different people that they encounter? perhaps?
Yes, actually, I like to conceptualize it. I think I teach people that it's like a mosaic or a patchwork quilt of amalgamated personalities, TV personalities. Maybe your third grade teacher, your roller skating friend, or whoever you're with. You're taking bits and pieces, honey, and you're trying to stitch together a sense of self that was never there. And so it leads to a fragile sense of self, which leads to a fragile ego. So anytime you try not compliment, anytime you try and question this person, or you try and give them constructive criticism, not only will they reject it, but they will fashion it back into a weapon and wield it most deftly against you.
Wow.
They are out for blood, but they're not trying to just kill you, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. They are trying to deaden you because they feel dead inside. They never connected. They never experienced empathy like other people.
Wow. So now
they want that connection, but they don't know how to get it. The only way they know how to get it is like that little boy in the third grade who he was just in love with you. So instead of saying, "Hey girl, you so fine, baby," he want to smack you in the back of the head while you're in English class. This is what they do.
You know, I told a story about that when I first got on YouTube about this little boy, a little Caucasian boy named Paul Callahan. He would always pull my ponytails as he sat behind me. Yeah, that's really crazy. So everything is
or he just could have had a crush and was unable to really express the appropriate way to,
right.
To help the ladies. Yeah.
Wow.
But in narcissism, it only went over the first part. They first meet you, they put you on a pedestal. That's idealization.
Idealization, that's what we call it.
Go off script. You do something they don't like. Now you're being devalued. Not only do they not love you anymore, you're not the golden child, now you're the hated one. Now you've become the Voldemort of their life. He can't be named.
That is very, very interesting. So you say first they adore you and idolize you, and then the next thing you know, like they put you up on a pedestal, and then all of a sudden you do one thing they don't like, and then they devalue you. That's very interesting because there was a young lady that I had on my show for an interview a few weeks ago, and she was talking about how she worked for this woman, and the woman called her the general because she was like doing all this work and stuff, and the woman praised her work, and then she did one thing the lady didn't like, and all of a sudden the lady said, "Oh, she was just a volunteer." So she just like knocked her down like 5 notches back to, to the ground. So that sounds like typical narcissistic behavior. So I have a question. Would you say, because I read somewhere that all sociopaths and psychopaths are absolutely narcissists, and those people are usually serial killers, by the way, but that all narcissists are not sociopaths or psychopaths. How do you feel about that?
All narcissists are sociopaths because the hallmark of a sociopath is someone that utilizes society and other people as self-injurious objects. A narcissist is not just fighting us, their victim or their supply, like a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
The narcissist is often fighting themselves. Their own ego is split. Their own ego is fighting itself.
Wow.
And you are caught in the crossfire. You will never be perfect. A narcissist takes what they call snapshots. When they first meet you, oh, you're the best thing. But I tell you what, if you deviate anyway from that snapshot, when you make your own decisions, you have your own ideas, you want your own authentic autonomy, the second that you express that is when the narcissist will shut you down, cut you off, they will devalue you. In Queen Ahmadiyyah, the third and fourth part is idealization, evaluation, but then they discard you. And when you get cold cut by a narcissist, you are cold cut. They no longer need your supply. They found supply elsewhere.
So they just kick you to the curb.
And the fourth element is replacement. because the narcissist has such a fragile sense of self, they can't afford to not have a supply. Honey, that's like a car with no gas or lungs without air.
Right.
They actually believe, in a sense, that they will die if they don't have their supply. This is worse than crack. Worse, because that you can conquer. But this is something that you really can't conquer. This is what we refer to oftentimes, if it's a toe tagger. I mean, you're going to go to the toe tag with this because the prognosis is extraordinarily poor because the individual never comes out of that fragmented sense of self. They're like a mosaic where a beautiful glass vase was sitting on the table and it got smacked onto the ground and shattered into 1,000 pieces. And then they hand it to you and say, put this back together.
Wow.
But it was never whole to begin with.
Right.
And so this is a deeply flawed person, honey. They will copy everything you have because they have no energy, no life force, and no love of their own. And when you find joy and happiness, they're angry. And that's what I wanted to tell you, is that you're always explaining yourself with a narcissist. They have zero initiative, low energy. They don't want to do anything because if they go out and do and be, people will see that they're lacking, that they're not the best in everything. A narcissist is a sour grapes because he's upset that he can't be you. And if he can't be you, he'll consume every bit of you. And the second he's done, he's out the door.
Wow.
It's the coldest winter ever.
Wow, you know what? The people in the chat are loving this. They are loving this. They can absolutely relate. And they said that the sound, the audio is much, much better. So they absolutely love it. Yeah, so this is... Yes. So Nessie X said, wow, this is mind blowing. Yes, absolutely it is. So now...
You got so much, but the takeaways really are that, first of all, I hope you have some good running shoes.
Good running shoes?
Right, because there's no cure and there's no treatment that's truly efficacious for this. Because the person has no desire to want to be healed.
Wow.
Their investment is in sucking you dry and moving on.
Just taking up all your energy, like psyche vampires.
The psychic vampire. They're psychic vampire. And envy is always the key. I wanted to make sure we went over that again. They are so jealous of you. You know you're a narcissist. Those beasts, you know what they do to us?
What they do?
Of course, I've been thinking about myself, but look at that. Nothing. They make you question yourself, second guess yourself. They're constantly gaslighting you, so you don't know what's real and what isn't. Now you're looking at yourself, wondering, and you're like, wait a minute. But they isolate you because they cut you off from family and friends a lot of the time because they're so sour and dispossessed and dejected and downtrodden that this vibration and frequency is so negative and low vibe, it reverberates throughout the universe, and people can part with a narcissist and see parting like the Red Sea. Because once you get to know that person, you're out of there. But oftentimes you don't get to know them because they seduce you. But you don't know it's all you. When you're with a narcissist, you're in a hall of mirrors that never end.
Wow. This is all so insightful. So let me ask you this. Why is it so difficult for a narcissist to ever apologize, to give atonement for the wrongs that they do to other people, for the damages they cause?
Apologies are tantamount to death.
Really?
Because the narcissist is admitting that they're not perfect. The problem with you is that you supply or pawn or vampire. You have but one job, and that's to pay attention to them and serve their every need because they are God in every way. They are God. And what happens is they're living in this delusional fantasy world because narcissistic personality disorder, the cornerstone of it is flights of fantasy.
So they will say things that absolutely make them seem larger than life, and they have godlike complexes. Would that be safe to say?
Oh, wow. Absolutely. With a narcissist, I call them Theo often. As in theocracy.
Yes.
Because every one of them wants to be Theo. They want to be God.
Wow.
And so, they can't be. And you possess some godlike quality that they don't. And they're going to extract it from you the hard way. Because every time that you experience joy, they experience pain. Because your joy means that they didn't have that pain for themselves. And they deserve all success, love, and accolades in this universe. You don't deserve any. So whatever you get must have been stolen from me. You know you're with a narcissist because when you call that person to deliver good news, they are happy. And when you call them to deliver sad news, they are gleeful.
Right. So they don't like to hear your good news, but they are willing to listen to your bad news because that makes them happy.
Exactly. And they lie like a rug.
Pathological liars.
Pathological liars. We call that confabulation. Con meaning with, fabulation meaning they made it up. So basically, they're constantly lying.
Confabulation.
They're caught in their own web of lies, and they get taken down, and they will never, ever, ever apologize. They will never accept accountability, because that is literally an existential crisis, which will shatter their fragile ego and leave them in a state of basically zombieism.
Wow.
The narcissist, bottom line is, they are dead inside. They have no joy, and they want to make sure you don't have any either.
Wow, this is absolutely amazing. This sounds just like someone that I know of too. And here's another thing. So you said that they just make up things, and to me that sounds delusional. So what about, there's one person that I absolutely believe is a narcissist, and this person literally said that she could raise the dead from a distance, and also likened herself to Jesus.
Well, that God complex is very common in these people, clearly, because they actually believe that they're God, and what they'll do is they'll try and take all of your good attributes and they'll introject them, Ahmadiyyah. Wow. They literally consume you. They'll eat you alive, and then they spit you out, and they look for their next supply, because you are nothing to them. They don't have empathy. They don't have feelings. All that time and energy that you're putting in with this narcissist, honey, you are playing handball against a wall in a dark room. You are not playing tennis with a willing partner. They cannot give and receive love. And this is what is the narcissistic injury that they really heap upon humanity, is that they cannot, but oftentimes they pretend that they can.
Wow.
They're copying others because they don't have any original thoughts of their own. It's a very sad place to be, and you're right, it is delusional.
Hold on, let me pause right there. Did you just say that they copy people because they don't have any original thought of their own?
Oh, absolutely. They are the world's best copycats.
Wow.
Because they have no sense of self. All they have is Xerox copies of anybody and everybody's everything. Nothing of their own.
And would you say that it's safe to...
When left to their own devices, they will fail.
Wow. So now would you say that the people that they copy are people that they actually admire secretly but would never admit to that?
Oh, my Lord, yes, honey. And that's why they say that imitation is the sincerest flattery.
Absolutely. This is also insightful. You know something, Dr. Clark? This is very insightful because there's someone that I was mentioning before on a previous broadcast, and I absolutely said that this person copies other people because they have no original thoughts. I said the same exact thing. So this is also insightful. This is really telling us a lot.
Yes. That person has no original thoughts, and you know what? But they're usually not fools, honey. These sociopaths, and they're not fools. So they're only going to copy the best.
They're going to copy the best. So,
they're going to copy the best.
This is also interesting. Y'all heard that, right? Dr. Clark said they only copy the best. #wig. But continue. This is also interesting.
And this is an interesting thing because they only copy the best because what they're going to do is they're going to consume that. So they only want the best for themselves because what they're going to do is they're going to divorce you from your original everything. Your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, your work, everything. They're going to swear out that they were the ones who originated. They're the fount of creativity that all of this flows from, when it was someone else all along. But typically with narcissists, it's not someone else, honey. It's everyone else.
Wow. This is also interesting. So, Dr. Clark, listen, I want you to give us a few more points and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy, you have a busy schedule. But we so appreciate you giving all of this juicy, salacious information and details so that we know these narcissists when we encounter them and we can stop them right in their tracks, not allow them to suck us dry, honey, because they're psychic vampires.
That's right. They're just straight up misanthropes, which means these people, they don't only hate themselves. They hate their mark or their victim, or they also hate humanity at large. So no matter what happens, you know that you're with a narcissist because everything will be going great. And they will have a cloud, baby, for every silver lining. They will have a problem for every solution.
Wow, that's also crazy. So, Dr. Clark, someone's asking if you have a Cash App.
I have a Cash App. Do I? Yeah, I actually do have a Cash
App. Okay, please give us your Cash App, honey. They want to send donations.
Oh my word! You know what? I hate to be honest and be modest, but I have to look it up for a moment because I really don't do too much on it. I do a lot of donations, as you know.
Right.
I don't do a lot of I should know my own name, though. You're right. This is embarrassing.
No, that's not embarrassing. Some of us forget.
It's hashtag. I mean, not hashtag. It's $. Maven Ma'at. So that's M as in Mary, A as in apple, V as in vampire, E as in envy, N as in narcissist.
Okay. Ma'at.
You got it. Maven Ma'at.
Okay. $, Maven, Maven, Maven Ma'at, Maat. Well, I surely appreciate you, beloved.
Thank you.
Yes, I absolutely appreciate it. Now I want to know if you have a YouTube channel, honey. They are doing the most.
Oh, you guys are so cute. You guys are... No, I don't have a YouTube channel, but Queen Ahmadiyyah, you know where to find me.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm always in the chat. My name is Ma'at Tehuti, and I am the person who owns Psyops. It's Ma'at Psyops. The big thing is everything's a Psyop. The whole world, the universe is mental.
Right.
The universe is right. And so as we think, we are. And if we get trapped in cages by people that mean us no good, you can always open the door and leave.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Thank you so much, beloved. I'm going to let you go, but I really appreciate you. And listen, I'm going to be giving you a call this weekend. You know, I'm going to give you a call this weekend because we have some more interesting things to discuss. And maybe I can have you back on another time because this was also juicy.
I'm open for consultation. I'm definitely open for consultation. So I pretty much see a lot of different types of people from different walks. I'm trained as a clinical psychologist. So I'm a doctor of clinical psychology. I did internships with people who were in the court system, forensics. I worked at the mental hospital, children all the way to geriatric, from pediatric to geriatric. But in the current situation right now, we're doing a lot of outreach that's digital. So thank you so much for inviting me on. I would love to touch base with the community, guys. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming, beloved. And listen, you have a blessed and wonderful evening. And I will talk to you again soon. And everyone says thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys. Peace and blessings, y'all. Hang in there.
Okay. Peace and blessings, beloved. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome. I absolutely love it. And for those of you asking if she has a YouTube channel, she doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she's always in my chat. Her name is Ma'at Tehuti. Okay, so you may have seen her in the chat. I want to thank you all so much This was eye-opening, very insightful, and we all know exactly somebody. We all know somebody somewhere that fit the very description of the narcissist, the portrait of a narcissist that she unmasked. Queen, she was absolutely amazing, and I made her Cash App. Okay, all right. All right, so Mr. Hotel said he made her Cash App rain, honey. I love it. All right, so that all been said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. Each one teach one, beloveds. That's how we grow and thrive. Thank you all so much for tuning back in once again. Make sure you like and share this very important video. Also, don't forget to go and join me on Rumble. Make sure you subscribe and follow me on there and check out that video that I posted yesterday. And with that all been said, I wish you all love, peace, and joy, and enjoy the rest of this evening. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page and on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. All right. All right. I'll talk to you all again soon. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.